So Saturdays I normally sit down and just run through the opportunities and then try and point out what I'm going to be doing for the week, and hopefully that helps you review your own charts and get some entries. So the purpose of the videos is really just to help you understand how I trade, and at the same time hopefully help you to become a bit of a better trader and make some money out of these markets. Anyway, so I've got quite a few opportunities that I've got lined up for the week. So I think let's just get through them. It's going to be quite a lengthy video. And Saturday is the time when you've got the time to do these things. Anyway, so the first one I want to kick off with is EURUSD. So EURUSD hasn't really changed from my view last week. We are still consolidating in this triangle. So big up, big down, big up, big down, big confusion. That's pretty much what's happening right now. If I look to the left, I do have an area here that I need to pay attention to, and it's not exact, but it is definitely kind of a zone. Okay, and you can see what I mean by that. So for those of you that are not familiar with my support and resistance levels, I'm always looking beyond the previous swing low, look a little bit further to see where price came past, and I'll need a fractional at that level. So that is 1.0914, and the bottom area is 1.0805. So that is the level that I'm looking at. Okay, so between 108 and 109, that is pretty much the consolidation area that we're in, and you can see that's exactly what's transpiring. If we just drop down to the daily, have a look at the amount of days that the buyers have stepped in here. Now, there's a lot of noise in the market about a strong dollar. There's a lot of indication in the market that the dollar is going to get a lot stronger. And there's also a lot of confusion because there's indication that the gold is breaking out and we're going to get a strong gold as well. So a lot of new things in the market which are sort of against the traditional setups that normally happen. So it's one of the reasons why I'm not really interested in the noise at the moment. I'm watching these two levels for a breakout. Okay, now you can see how that coincides with the triangle. Break the downside gives us downside, break the upside gives us upside. Okay, the 150, which is this purple moving average here, this is the 150 EMA. That is my indication of a trend. Now I like to use that to indicate whether I'm in a bull trend or in a bear trend, and at the moment I am in a bear trend. If we start drilling down to lower time frames, the 8 hour, you can see nothing much has changed. My view doesn't change on this level. There's trend line to the downside. There are buyers coming off it. There are sellers coming off the 150 EMA as well. Okay, and if we get down to the 4 hour, because this is where my trigger is going to be pretty much on the 4 hour, you can see we're not exactly on this level. It's more than likely that we are trailing this this trend line at the bottom here. Okay, so the idea right now is just to adjust my level, and if I look to the left, you can see there is a double fractional there. We've used it as support. We've bought off it here. We've bought off it here, and I'm going to fine tune this a little bit more. And basically bring in this fractional here. So we know we've got a weekly level here, and now at the minor levels, 4 hour, we've got more buyers stepping in off that area. Okay, so that is pretty much for me the scenario that I'm looking for. I am looking for a break above that area there, but I'm going to bring this level in as well because this level is significant. It is the 150 EMA. So a break above here, a retest and a hold in this area would definitely give me an opportunity to the top trend line. There is a gap here as well. Okay, and the last thing just to bear in mind here is this is be conservative here. This is sort of a range, and a break above it does give us a move to this inside tail here. Okay, so let's just get those levels of what we're looking for, and I just want to make sure that these levels are not clickable, and that's pretty much my setup for the week. I'm more sort of slight bias that we are going to be breaking to the upside. If we do break the downside, let's start with the downside potential trade. That's going to be a 4-hour close below 1078. And then I would like to see a retest that would break this triangle. I'd like to see a retest of that area. And if I get the retest on the lower low of the retest, I'll enter short with a stop above that, the bar that retests that top here. So what are we referring to? So we'd have to look at this area here. You can see there is my retest on this fractional. So break below that gives me an entry, stop just above it. Okay, so this bar here was my trigger. It closed below the level, short it is, stop above there, and the short played out. Okay, so converse on for short, that's what we're looking for. For a long, I'm looking for a break. I don't want to take a long down here. I want to see a break above this area here of 1089. Okay, break above there. It's going to be a short trade, pretty much up into the area of 1094. Then I would like to see it pull back into this area, and if that holds, or even a break out of this diagonal, this triangle, and then hold this level, that'll definitely get me in for a decent, a longer term long. Okay, so this is something that may still sort of meander on sideways like this for the whole of next week. That's fine. The point is we just need to keep an eye on it, because when we do get above, if, I suppose we shouldn't say when, but if we get above 1099, or probably, let's say 110, then I would expect us to rally a little bit higher. Okay, but that's the one scenario. But also bear in mind the noise around the dollar at the moment would give us a break down to the downside quite aggressively as well. Okay, so it is range bound. We've got opportunities to both sides. Trend is down at the moment, so we should be looking for opportunities short. But I don't want to be shorting off this area. First, expect a bit of a pullback into this area, probably even as high as closing this gap, sort of a spike into closing the gap before rolling, or alternatively just trending. But anyway, this is something that I'm watching. There is merit for moves either side, and we'll just keep it on the watch list. Okay, next one is euro yen. Now euro yen is a similar situation here. So this is not quite an inside bar. My inside bars are right over there. Okay, so this is the area that I have been watching, 1163.38, and this level here is really just this previous swing low. But if I drill down now, you'll see the area that I've been watching, pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4. So last week, Monday, we got onto it. We rejected it the day after and moved to the downside. Okay, now this thing is also fairly interesting because we do have a bit of a triangle forming here, and we'll review that now. Okay, so we've had a rally. We've pulled back onto the 61.8 Fibonacci and then bounced off there. And we've moved back up to the 50% Fibonacci of this last move. Okay, so that there is just an indication that we could have some form of a breakout setup happening. The question is which way? Is it to the downside? So in other words, we have had a high. This did create a higher high, came down, created a lower low. We then came up and created a lower high from the previous one. Okay, and now we've created a higher low. So that is a triangle. This consolidation pattern. What are we looking for? I'm watching 11638. If we get above that and we hold, there would be a good opportunity to break the upside, but I do have a fairly strong trend line. So I'd want to see us break above that trend line, come back, find some support in the trend line, and then break the upside. Okay, so that's kind of the move to the upside that I'm looking at. Move to the downside. This area, you can see the buyers came in off this area here. So I'd want to see them break and close below it. In other words, I want to see a break. We had a break here. We had a retest. So a short entry would have been below these two tails here with a stop above it. At this stage, there's nothing going on here, but these are the two areas that I want to pay attention to. So short opportunities below 11486 and long opportunities above 11638. Just be wary of this trend line. Okay, and for as long as we're below the 150 EMA, the trend is to the downside. If we get to the 4 hour, you'll see the difference is a break above 11638 does break the 4 hour 150 EMA. Okay, and you can see buyer stepping in here. Does look like a bit of a double bottom for a measured move to the upside. Measured move to the upside would be the length of the original move. This is a 1, 2, 3 pullback, and I'd be looking at these previous highs here as a target area. So that is a target area of 11778. Okay, so let's just make these levels unselectable, and that will be my view for next week on this. So that's sort of the level that I'll be watching on this one. Okay, gold. So gold is the one trade that did play out from last weekend's review. We are sitting long on this. What I do want to do though here is just sort of highlight this previous high up here at 1119. Okay, and then I want to come down to the daily. So last week we spoke about this triangle here. Okay, and we pretty much got a breakout on Thursday and continuation on Friday. We are now flirting with the previous high here, and I'm anticipating a break of this level. So if you're not in on this long, I would anticipate a break above this level, a pullback onto 1746, and then an opportunity to get long. So looking at the 8 hour, you can see the break was out, 1 bar pullback onto the trend line. And it actually wasn't quite the trend line, but it was this fractal here. Let's just zoom in so you can see the price action here. So you can see this trend line was in play. We broke above it here. You can see the 8 hour close was on that trend line, and then we broke out. But the real retest was onto this level here of 1711. If I come down to 4 hour, you'll see breakout, pullback, indecision, boom. And this was the data on Thursday that came out that drove this market to the upside. So it was jobs number. So yeah, so for me at the moment, I think we just stay on the 4 hour because that's pretty much what we're looking for. So what I would do is look at this area here. So my stop is just below this range at the moment. Okay, so we've locked some profit in, but I would expect us to come back onto this range, test it, and then probably hover around this line before form some structure here before another breakout. So I'm looking for another point of structure. I'm not really looking to add at this level. I'd like it to get a little bit more profit into the trade before I start adding to it. So what I'm waiting for is a bit more structure here. These levels need to hold, so this range needs to hold, and a breakout to the upside. This break to the upside is going to be fairly violent. So we're just going to have to do that. Go to a higher time frame. And you'll see I've got to go back quite far before I start seeing any other price action at this level. Okay, so we're going back to, what's that, January 20,000? No, it can't be January 20,000. Get back to the daily. Right, so we're coming back into 2012. Okay, so 2012 is pretty much the last time we were up in that area. So there are some nice sizable trades here. So first target area is going to be 1791. I am anticipating that we sort of consolidate a bit there and then break further, probably looking to target 1919. Break through that, then obviously 2,000 is going to be the round number. So yeah, so I'm fairly bullish on gold, and for as long as we're staying above the 150, I'm remaining bullish. So that's traders in the bag at the moment. Next one I want to look at is the S&P. Now, S&P is, I'm not going to say a disaster, but it is poised for something to happen somewhere. We are in a range, okay, and I'm taking a lot of flack for that comment, but anyway, we're in a range. There are probably more more bears and bulls on this market at the moment, because we had a 61.8 and there's head and shoulders patterns, and there's so much structure which is indicating a move to the downside, and that in itself worries me. Okay, so if you look at the daily, bouncing off the 150 here, bounced off twice, bottom of the range, look at how many times the buyers have stepped in here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Okay, Thursday buyers were coming in. Friday, buyers were coming in. Now, you've got to ask yourself, why are there buyers buying on a Friday going into the close? Okay, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of trade war noise. There's a lot of virus noise. There's recession noise. There's depression noise. There's so much negative noise in the market. And obviously that influenced so many people. And a lot of the people are sitting short on this market. Okay, now, the reality is, because there are more people sitting short, where are their stops? Their stops are all up here. Okay? People that are sitting long, because there are a lot of them looking long, and you can see that in the chart here, their stops are sitting here. So we have a perfect storm brewing for a move to the upside and a proper acceleration, or alternatively a move to the downside with a proper acceleration. Can we say that we are going to turn and fall at the moment? No. Can we say we can go to the upside and rally? No. We are range bound, okay? And that is my view on this market. So the minute you start drilling down through the lower time frame, start cycling through here, you'll see what I mean. On the 8 hour, remember what I say, for as long as I'm below the 150 EMA, I'm in a downward trend. If I'm above the 150 EMA, I'm in an upward trend. Right now, I'm above and below. That is confusion, that is range. Okay, so we are range bound at the moment. It is going to take a fairly big catalyst to push us to the downside, because there's a lot of federal banks, there's a lot of stimulus that is in the market at the moment. Okay, so if that does fail, I agree with you, we're going to see an almighty fail. And that was just agreeing with the bears. But from a bullish standpoint, if we break above here, we're going to trigger all those short stops, and it's just going to give us this massive move to the upside. Okay, then you're going to start targeting structure, and the structure is going to be previous highs, previous lows, gaps. Okay, and before you know it, you're back at all-time highs again. Okay, so there is merit for both sides, guys. So bear that in mind. Don't fall into the trap of falling into one of the camps and holding on to trades thinking that you're going to move the market. As we are, as retail traders, are definitely not going to move the market. And me personally, I don't hold any S&P trades over the weekend. I don't hold any overnight. Okay, so for as long as this is happening, I am fairly neutral. If we come down to the bottom, I'm a buyer. We come up to the top, I'm a seller. Okay, the thing that to just bear in mind, on the close, we have closed pretty much in the middle of this range. Okay, and that is also another sign of indecision. So whenever you see a range, any instrument, when they're running in a range like this, and you close in the middle, or you just hover in the middle, think of a Bollinger Band. So if you watch the Bollinger Band strategy, when you look for a Bollinger Squeeze, that's pretty much what's transpiring here. Okay, so the range just starts coming tighter and tighter. It's where triangles come in. Okay, and then you're looking for a breakout. So I haven't even mentioned the oscillators yet this morning, but the oscillators are indicating a move to the downside. But I am not interested in picking a direction just yet. Okay, the fact that we're buying, there are more buyers, there are more days that we're buying off the bottom here, and the fact that we are buying into the close does push my bias a little bit to the upside. But until we break through this range, I'm pretty much looking at much lower time frames, as probably in the region of the half-hour time frame on this, and getting in on the trade. Okay, and you can see you're getting moves, and you're getting opportunities to sell. Bottom of range, buying, and up we go. Okay, anyway, so guys, that's pretty much me on the S&P. It's something that we need to pay attention to, because there is a potential decent swing trade brewing, but at the moment this is just range bound trading, so range traders are making a killing out of this right now. The DAX is another one that I want to pay attention to. So the DAX is pretty much, how do I put it, it's consolidating as well. It's also consolidating off two significant levels. So the first one is the swing low here at 10,283, and then obviously this double swing low here at 11,286. That is the DAX's range at the moment. If you look at the daily, you'll see similar scenario. We have a bit of a head and shoulders forming here, a little bit of structure, but look at this daily pin bar followed by a confirmation bar off this level. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days that we are hovering at this level. Okay, so that to me is the bottom of range. So there are a lot of shorts on this market as well, because of the massive fall, and now we are moving up. Now we expect a retracement, form a lower high, sort of a higher low, and then we rally. So we're expecting all this normal price action, because that's how we've been ingrained, and that's how it's worked in the past. But this is not normal. This fall here and this consolidation is not normal. Okay, so you've got to keep an open mind here. And the same scenario here is, I would have agreed a couple of days ago, or maybe a week or two ago, okay, we're in the area, but I need to be short, get the short. But that has changed. The longer we've gone sideways, I'm more looking for the range levels and where is the breakout. Now, let's get to the 8 hour. Oh, we actually don't want to do the 8 hour on the DAX. So the 8 hour pretty much used for any instrument that I'm trading at 24 hours or 23 hours. So you've got the 1 hour close for Forex and things like that. But for the DAX, especially with my broker, they only trade from 8 in the morning my time to 10 at night my time. So 8 hour doesn't add any value. Okay, so again, 4 hour, 150 EMA. We're bouncing left, top and bottom, top and bottom, top and bottom, top and bottom here. This is not an opportunity for me to be long or short. Again, similar scenario to the S&P, except one slight difference. Okay. High, low, lower high, lower low. Retest to the 150. This market does look like it is setting up for a fall. Okay, so what's going to get me short is a close below 10,225 and a retest of that area. Okay, so I don't just want to see a close. I want to see a retest, and then if the retest is successful, a break below the retest bar is going to get me short with a stop above it. Okay, so that's pretty much the DAX that I'm looking at. It does look like it's setting up for a short, and your target area is probably more than likely going to be this gap. Okay, there's more structure here as well, so that's the area that I'd be looking at, is 9470. What would destroy that view is going to be pretty much a break above 1100, but then I'd expect a test of 11,286, and then a pullback back onto that, and then an opportunity to get the break the upside. But for now, we are range bound, and again, similar scenario here. Probably look at this on the 30 minutes. 30 minutes probably going to be a better view. So as long as we below this 150 MA, trend is down. Okay, so you can see we had a big move down, bit of a consolidation. One push up, one push down, one push up. So on the lower levels here, sort of Monday morning, we definitely want to be looking at what's going to transpire in this consolidation area. Break below these fractals, stop is above the fractal. You're targeting the low of the range. If you get below the low of yesterday, that's going to be your trigger for a bigger trade to the downside. Okay, so there's definitely something to watch for here on the DAX for a move to the downside. Okay, moving on. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So this is something which, on the 3 hour here, let's just get the weekly. So big down, big up. We have come back into an area, not quite an area of support. Just want to get these levels in here. Okay, can you see the consolidation here to the upside where all these tails are? I've got consolidation to the downside, the tails to the downside. And you can see that's kind of the area that we're falling into at the moment. If we look at the daily, you can see a bounce off the 150 EMA, double bounce off the 150 EMA, and a rejection. The other thing that's transpiring here is we have broken below this trend line. So what was looking like a consolidation triangle to the upside does look like it could be changing. Just going to put that level in there because, well, actually this level there. This inside tail is what I'm looking at. That's the structure I'm looking to break. So for me, this is a potential double top. And let's just do the double top here. And that's on the daily. Let's get to the 8 hour. You'll see double top, double bottom. Okay, so it is range bound. On the 8 hour, we are above the 150 EMA. Okay, so technically we should be looking for longs, and that would be a break above this fractal level here. Just put that level in there. So if we can get a break above 64.8, then we should be targeting top of this range, which would be 65.9. If we do get a break below 63.6, 0.636, then I'm expecting that to be a rejection of those bigger levels. And we're looking for a move then to the downside. And ultimately, we're looking for a break of 63.6. Okay, so on the daily, I'm looking for a break of 0.636. That would give us a double top, and double top targets, as we all know, would take us down to the 61.3 area. Okay, just get onto the 4 hours to double check what we see here. So yeah, so 4 hour, we are above the 150, so should be looking for longs. So this is definitely the area we need to pay attention to. Okay, 63.6. I want to see a break and a retest of that area, and then we can look for the opportunity to get short on that. To the upside, what are we looking for? I'm looking for a break above there. Okay, so a break above 64.7. So I want to break, a retest, and a move to the upside. So just want to see what kind of 1,000-point trades. 1,000-point trades. Okay, but that's kind of the structure we're looking at on this pair, which is Aussie dollar, US dollar. That's definitely something else that we are still watching. And pound USD. Pound USD is another one where we've got a trade running at the moment to the short side. Took a while to get going, but it did eventually get going. And you can see this weekly rejection of this level here was what I was waiting for anyway. Okay, which means I need to break below these levels here in order for us to get some moves to the short side. And if we look at where we are right now, double top is in play, so we are looking for that kind of move. So I'm pretty much looking to, actually I'm looking right around there, and that is a target of 1.19. Okay, so that trade is definitely in play, and let's just run through the scenario. You can see we were range bound, pretty much going nowhere up and below the 150, but over here late in the week, we sort of got a rejection there. We got another pullback, retest that level and rejection. And 4 hour is pretty much what you're looking for here. Okay, so you can see here's the entry point here for that trade to the downside. So I'm expecting this thing pretty much to continue down to at least 1.1926, and the measured move is obviously a little bit more than that. Just put it above the measured move, which is 1.185. Okay, so that's kind of in that trade, waiting for that to go. If you're not in the trade, there was another entry on Friday. You can see a break below the level, pull back to test it. A break would have been below this red bar here. Let's just zoom in just so you can understand what I'm talking about here. So you can see break, pull back to test the break, and if I just do that, it doesn't always come back exact, but there was my rejection bar. So stop entry is below that bar, stop is above it. Okay, anyway, so that is definitely in pound Aussie dollar. Now this one is something that I am really waiting patiently for. So we have got this pullback onto some structure here, and this is on the weekly. So the structure that I'm looking at is 1.087. Okay, I've got this pullback into structure. I do have a little bit more structure further down. Okay, but that's quite far down. If I look to the left, the structure, we'll fine tune it there. With this double inside bar here, and that is 1.86. And if you look a little bit further to the outside, you can see it's kind of used as resistance as well in the past. Down to the area. So we've got into the zone I've been waiting for. It is also a fairly significant level because it is the 61.8 of the previous move to the upside. Okay, so let's just get rid of that noise. I just want those levels here, so we can do that. Right. Okay, so let's just get down to the lower time frame. So you can see we've got a break of the 150. We're above the 150. We're below the 150 again. So there's no structure that's formed on there to indicate that we are bouncing to the upside. And there's no structure that's formed here that's saying that we could have a potential trend change or moving to the downside. So for me at the moment, I'm looking for an opportunity to get long in this market in this zone. If we get down to the 8 hours, you can see we had this massive bounce off a level. We pulled back into the area. We have got below it, but there's sideways action here. So I don't trust this as a signal to the downside. And then we've still got this little level here of 186, so 1.869 that I need to pay attention to. The 4 hour is also not really clear at the moment. This at the moment is consolidation. Is it consolidation for a move to the downside, or are we looking for a move back to the upside? Okay, so just based on that, for what's going to get me long? So the first thing I want to do is get my 4 hour level in, which is this area here. So that's 1.901. Okay, so you can look to the left, you can see there was consolidation around there. You can see it seems to be significant because there have been buyers off that level and there have been sellers off that level. So I'm looking for a break above that. So I want to see a break, a retest, and a hold. That would get me a short-term scalp up to the 150 EMA. It's probably about 1.929 or 1.93, somewhere around there. I would then want to see a little bit of a pullback and then another attack at this to get above it. Once we're above the 150 EMA on the 4 hour, that's going to get me in for a swing trade to the upside. Okay. The reality of the situation on this pair is we did have a fairly good move to the upside. We've had this pullback, okay, and pullback has been into structure, and I would anticipate that we are going to find buyers here, sort of long-term buyers, and this is on the weekly level, who are going to be looking for opportunity to be long this market. Okay, So I am really keen to pay attention to this, and you're going to have to just be patient. So this particular market, it's been going nowhere most of the week. We had a big move up, big down, and then just drifting lower. But there's no significant direction. In other words, it's not pointing down steeply like this. We're just drifting. And that's always an indication. It's either an indication that we are attempting to get through a level, or we are just attempting to get to a level for the buyers to step in. Okay, so this structure that we see here is something I'm paying attention to. What's going to destroy my view of looking for a long is a break below 1.86. Okay, break below that, I want to see a retest of that, and then I want to see a pretty good retest of that to the downside that we can get in a little short. Okay, but for now, this structure is something that I'm definitely looking at, and I'm looking for at least a retest of the 150 on the 8 hour. And the other thing about that is you can see this original trend line here was broken, and we've come back to retest it. Okay, so if I just adjust that now, and then I put another line in, and that line is going to come pretty much from there. What do you spot? Okay, so that is a falling wedge into a major area of support. I'm a little bit bullish on the setup at the moment, so this is looking pretty interesting. And if it does play out, there is a potential for sort of a retest up to there, at least up into this area here. Well, let's just be conservative and say previous highs. So there is a potential for a move to 205 and possibly even higher. Okay, and you can see big move up, retracement, big move up. Okay, but anyway, that's a little bit too far in the future for me. So yeah, that's kind of the setup that we're looking at there. Okay, another one that just popped up on my radar was US dollar, Canadian dollar, and I'll admit that this popped up based on noise. So doing a bit of research on the dollar and realizing that the demand for the dollar is going to be immense, especially with the debt that's in the world at the moment. And an interesting fact is that there's not enough physical dollars in the world to service the debt and the interest payments. Okay, so based on that, you can see we've had a fairly strong breakout. We are consolidating. Okay, we're not really consolidating off a level, which does worry me a little bit. I'd like to see us consolidate off a level. That big up, big down, big up, big down, big confusion. So we are definitely consolidating. If we just get to the daily, you'll see that the consolidation at this stage does look like a flat bottom triangle, doesn't it? Okay, but I think what you need to bear in mind here is we've got this trend line here, and then we have that kind of trend line there. Okay, so it doesn't really matter whether you see a flat bottom triangle or you see a flat bottom triangle, you see a triangle. My view on this right now is it is range bound, so it's a spike up and then into a range. So what I'm looking for on the daily is leave that level there, but I'm looking for a break to the upside of 1.41. Okay, so I am looking at a strong dollar, and this pair is something which I'm watching very carefully. There is an opportunity here to get this measured move to the upside. Okay, so that is the one thing that I'm looking on Canadian dollar. I don't think we can actually get anything more out of the lower time frames. There's nothing really on offer at this stage until we get above 1.417. Once we're above that and we come back and retest it, that is my entry. Tight stop as I can get in, and we are going to let that run. Firstly, to target this area up here of 1.45, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I have a sneaky suspicion that we may just accelerate through that area as well. Okay, accelerate to where? Not really sure, but you can see it is a kind of a double top area. So a move beyond that is going to be fairly aggressive. Okay, so that's Canadian dollar, US dollar, Canadian dollar that we're looking at the moment. Last one on my watch list is Euro Aussie dollar. Okay, yet another Aussie dollar pair, and nothing against my Australian friends. This is just structure that I'm seeing, which is kind of interesting me. So firstly, on the weekly, we're above the 150. We have been trending to the upside. Okay, so in other words, a strong euro, weak Aussie dollar, and you can see massive move to the upside, pull back onto this level, and now we've ended up with an inside bar on the weekly. So we had a pin bar off this level, then we had an engulfing, then we've got an inside bar. So big up, big down, big up, big confusion, or consolidation. And I think that's exactly what's transpiring here. We are consolidating off this level. We are sort of on the 150 EMA, so not really committed to this at the moment, but the structure that is forming does give me a fairly bullish bias. Okay, as you see on the 8 hour, we're still below the 150 and we've rejected it 3 times. So with that in mind, I'm looking for a break above one of these fractals that breaks the 150. So it's going to be this area here. So I'm looking for a break above 1.72. A break up, a retest, that's going to get me long on this market and long to pretty much test the previous highs. If we look at the 4 hour, you'll see a similar scenario here, except that level is a little bit different. The level we're watching here, there too. Okay, so this is the first area. I want to see support here, which we probably will find support. Then we should find resistance at 170. We should find support at 168. Resistance at 170. I want to see break above 170, pull back onto it, hold it. That's my indication for the long. And there is a bit of structure to the left. If I look, so that would be the next major area of resistance, which is going to be 1.73. A break above that, then we've only got minor resistance all the way back to the top. Okay, so that's kind of the setup that I'm looking at. This definitely looking for a long on this pair early next week. Anyway, guys, that comes to the end of it. So no long video, but this is pretty much what I do every Saturday. Make sure that I know exactly what's happened. Make sure that my levels are in. And what I'd also probably do either Sunday or Monday morning is just to put some alerts in so that I know what's happening. And as soon as the alert comes in, I'm already prepared and I know what direction I'm going in. Anyway, guys, that's it. I hope it helps you somewhat. And enjoy the rest of the weekend and happy trading next week. Remember, keep those stops tight and bank those profits often. Anyway, catch up with you later. Cheers for now.